I'm going to ask if we stand for invocation and pledge of allegiance. May we bow in an attitude of prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father, we say thank you for yet another day in beautiful Washington County. Thank you for the opportunity to serve the citizens. Lord, we thank you for this past weekend of Thanksgiving. Pray for all the families and festivities and safe travels. And Lord, just continue to guide us, direct us, and bless us. I pray in thy name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning again. We'll officially call our December meeting to order. And first of all, we have minutes to approve for both November the 6th and November the 7th. So we'll do those independently, please.
Motion to approve November 6th.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving November 6th, 2023's minutes? In favor by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, 4-0. November the 7th.
Motion to approve 7th.
Second.
Okay, motion and second to approve as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
I just have one quick correction if I can. I'm still getting caught up on emails from over Thanksgiving, so I apologize. The very final item of the day, I didn't vote in favor of that item, the final pay increase. If you could just reflect my vote as a no.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Motion and second with correction?
Motion section with correction you have, yeah.
Yes.
Second.
Okay. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
same sign. Aye. Okay, 4-0. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Kiefer. Commissioners' comments and reports. Randy, you want to go?
Morning. Wanted to welcome everybody, staff, employees, community back from Thanksgiving. Hope everybody had a really good relationships and times with their families. I was out of town, so mine was pretty good. But anyway, last night I got to go to a milestone for Western Enterprise Fire Department, their 150th year. So it's quite a legacy to read about, that being 150 years in the community. So it was a nice event, and I want to thank them for the invitation. We did tour Tomu, which is at New Heights Industrial at the airport. It's a new business that relocated. It's basically a, they don't like to be called little homes, so I didn't say that. It's a modular hospitality builder. They're building smaller dwellings, and they seem to have plenty of business and plenty of demand for the smaller dwellings. So I want to congratulate them and thank them for locating in Washington County out at the buildings at the airport. One other thing, I think we haven't met since Veterans Day. I wanted to thank everybody who did the Veterans Day ceremonies. There was quite a few in Washington County that day. I was able to attend Vietnam Monument, the courthouse laying wreath ceremony, and Marty Snook Park. So, you know, again, it was, I thank the people who put those on and keep everybody in remembering our veterans. And I appreciate that. We try to really support them the best we can because it's, you know, it seems like it's getting less and less people every year to help put these on. So we're going to try to keep this going pretty strong. But anyway, that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Kiefer?
Okay, thank you. Several things to report and share on. As Commissioner Wagner said, we haven't met since before Veterans Day. I had a nice opportunity to attend a luncheon that was organized by two citizens in Hancock, Nicole Montgomery and Shannon McKinley. Just want to mention their name for a Veterans Day luncheon at the Hancock United Methodist Church. I stayed, for the first 2 hours that I stayed, we helped serve 60 veterans and their families. So a very successful event. Shout out to them for what they did. Today is a day called Giving Tuesday, and I know every day has a day that honors something or multiple things. Today's Giving Tuesday. the Tuesday following Thanksgiving, where people are encouraged to give back, maybe to a nonprofit that they appreciate, or I guess it doesn't have to be a nonprofit, just give back in some way to the community. I think it's fitting that today, being Giving Tuesday, is also the funeral for the former First Lady Rosalind Carter, who passed away at 96. And there's a quote of hers I'd like to share, if I can, that I saw circulating on social media. So I researched it a little bit, and she said one time, there are only 4 kinds of people in the world: those who have been caregivers, those that are caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need caregivers. And I thought that was very poignant to hear coming out of Thanksgiving and today being Giving Tuesday. I think we at this table are caregivers, not for an individual necessarily, but for our community as a whole. So we fit that category and in other ways too. Keeping in that spirit, I did hear that there were 161 seniors on the wait list for Meals on Wheels at the start of November. And I know we enjoyed our Thanksgiving dinner. I'm grateful and thankful for that opportunity. And I wouldn't say that those seniors did not have an opportunity for Thanksgiving dinner, but 161 seniors on the wait list for Meals on Wheels. My hope is that coming out of Thanksgiving, heading into Christmas, in the spirit of Christmas, we might be able to find a way to help supplement and remove some of that wait list for our senior citizens. Also wanted to thank those who worked over Thanksgiving. For many people, that's a day off, but not for everybody. And whether emergency services in particular, if you're in the field or maybe in communications, I know just in my neck of the woods, there was a lot of activity, house fires, accidents, 2 deaths in my community. And so I know they were busy over the holiday weekend. I just want to thank our first responders for helping with that. And finally, one thing I wanted to share, a friend had shared with me an idea, not an idea so much, but just a word of caution around Christmas decorations. And as we decorate, whether public spaces, county government, or businesses, maybe this can be shared with business owners as well. Keep in mind, for those that may be handicapped or have some kind of disability, wrapping railings with garland or Christmas lights can make it difficult for someone to climb stairs if they need to. I'm not saying that that's taking place here in Washington County, and it wasn't directed to Washington County at all, but just a good notion and something I wanted to share. Businesses, local government, as we decorate for Christmas, just make sure we're not reducing the accessibility in any way. Those handrails are there for a reason, so let's just make sure that we keep those clear. That's all I have.
Mr. Kiefer. Mr. Klein?
Good morning, everybody. I too attended many of the Veterans Day events around Washington County, and every day is the day to thank our veterans. I do want to give knowledge to Jamie Dick and the Rec Department. On Thursday, Thanksgiving morning, they had the annual turkey trot with over 900 people registered and participating. So thank you to Jamie and HCC and all the volunteers that helped with that event. And then earlier in that week, I attended the Washington County Career Expo at HCC, which we helped sponsor. I saw Commissioner Barr there walking around. And I also attended the Nisi Gallery grand opening up at Fort Ritchie. It's an exhibit of some Japanese art that was discovered there when the fort was taken over by Mr. Krumpetich, and other sculptures and type of artwork. It's well worth the visit, and while you're there, stop at the Ritchie Boy Museum / Korean War Veteran Museum. It'll be an eventful day for you. I also attended Donnie Stoudemire's retirement party. He was instrumental in bringing funding for the aqueduct and other major projects in the canal headquarters. So a special thank you to Donnie for looking out for our hometown down there in Williamsport. And I also attended the other evening Boonesboro's EDC meeting. Instead of a breakfast, they had an evening meeting, and they brought in many of the businesses there to talk about what they were doing and their plans for the future for economic development for Boonesboro. Very well attended. I also saw Santa Claus up in Hancock Saturday night at their annual tree lighting. That was kids and people everywhere for that. And last night I did attend Western Enterprise's 150th anniversary, and Chief Lohr was there and made a comment about every 25 years you have a new generation. We'll take that 25 into 150, and how many generations of volunteers and people have been serving Hagerstown through that Western Enterprise. And the creation of Western Enterprise came because the railroad divided the town in half, and there was times where a train would hinder apparatus from going to that side of Hagerstown. So 150 years ago, they started in a tribute to all those in that family there at Western Enterprise. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner Klein. Yes, good morning to everyone again. It's been a very busy several weeks, and I too would like to piggyback off of Commissioner Kiefer's comments. Caregivers, I can personally attest, the last several days, you might see that I'm sitting kind of awkward here, but between Meredith's urgent care and Meredith's staff at our local hospital, the ER, just absolutely phenomenal. We're blessed and couldn't ask for better care and better oversight in the last several days. So my hat's off to them. A number of the events over the past several weeks, the Commission on Aging and the Commission on Veterans, again, thanks for their service, thanks for everything they do, and we appreciate the feedback that we get from many of those organizations. So again, thank you, and thanks everyone for being here this morning. So also, one of the things that's near and dear to my heart, I did attend the kickoff for the ringing of the bells, local Salvation Army. Their goal this year is $85,000, all of which goes right back into this community to help those that are less fortunate and having needs. I know commissioners are ringing, I think, is December the 13th.
Yes.
And I reached out to the city administrator and threw a challenge to them, and I think they're taking us on. So haven't heard any details or dates of that, but you know, we need to smile a lot the day we ring so we can take in more in the kettle. Hopefully we win. So, so they're taking this on as a challenge. So with that, we'll move right on to staff comments. And first is Sheriff Albert.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Albert, Washington County Sheriff. I have two adjustments, budget adjustments that need approval. The first is a budget amendment for $84,984. It's for personnel adjustments. So do you need them both at the same time, or do you want to vote on them individually?
I'd say do them individually, wouldn't you?
Okay.
Yeah, do them individually.
So that'd be the first one.
So what are we adjusting?
So it's some pay adjustments through
What account numbers are you transferring it from into?
the account numbers are 5,000 or 50, I guess it's 500,000. The fund number's 10 and department numbers patrol. We have some adjustments throughout judicial patrol, process servers. There's a variety of funds that will be in I have the.
So it's budget neutral between your departments. You're not asking for
Yeah.
additional funding.
Between
He's just moving between the departments.
Salary category to another salary category?
Correct.
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
Yeah, because you've been streamlining, haven't you, out there? And
Yeah, we've been trying to look at things, you know, as some retirements come up and reallocating. Obviously, it's no secret, we're down 15 in the detention center alone with just detention deputies. And then we have some other civilian staff that you know, we have some vacancies and just been tough to fill with the workforce that we have.
and how many patrol officers are you down?
We're down 4 right now with projection of about 10 by July. But we're actively recruiting. We were at the HCC job fair, a career fair that they had. We have somebody assigned to do you know, that's their main focus is recruiting. So
I'd motion to approve the first one for $84,984. Is that what it was?
yes,
Yep.
and 13 cents.
13 cents.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion is second to approve. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
And I just want to say, Sheriff, we're not police officers. That's your role, and
Okay.
we give you a budget. I don't think we need to approve these budget adjustments. You spend it on staffing how you think's necessary.
Okay.
I don't want to
The
impede
budget
that.
transfer, I think it's just
Courtesy.
It's an accounting
yeah,
formality.
it's an accounting formality for us to come before you, I think, to do this.
Yeah, you should maybe use some help on, when you do that also, maybe with the help of finance and budget to figure out where it's going, where it's coming
Yeah.
from, would that be true or not?
Well, our policy requires that when you're moving between departments, that it gets approved by the Board of County Commissioners. If he was moving between line items within one department, it would not require the Board of County Commissioners
That's
approval.
fine.
Yeah, we have like 6 budgets there.
I don't want to be telling you how to, you spend money on law enforcement. That's your wheelhouse.
Okay. The next one is a budget transfer that we have. It's going from full-time wages to part-time wages. We're doing we've been successful in hiring 3 part-time detention employees. So we had to move some money into that part-time wages. It's within, it's going from full-time wages to part-time, and it's for $107,952.
Motion to approve $107,952.
Second.
Okay, motion and second to approve. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, 4-0. Thank you,
That's
Sheriff.
all I have. Thanks for your support.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay, next up is Jonathan Horowitz, Career Expo. Is Jonathan here? Okay. Dawn Marcus, BOCC schedule.
Yes, Commissioners, I sent the proposed 2024 Board of County Commissioners schedule, and I also placed one at your desk, and I'm just looking for approval of the schedule. I just want to note that the town meetings are not on there yet, pretending, once it's approved, then we'll reach out to them for their evening meetings.
This didn't change from the last time you sent it out, did it?
I did not send the last one out.
This is for 2024.
Yeah, no, but didn't we see a draft of it?
Yes, Michelle Preby had previously sent out the draft.
Yeah, motion to approve that schedule.
Second.
Okay, motion second to approve as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, 4-0. Thank you. And I see, Jonathan, you're up.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Jonathan Horowitz, Director of Department of Business and Economic Development. Apologize for not being over here. I didn't have it on my calendar. That was in staff today. Really just wanted to bring you a note of good news in relation to some expenditure of our ARPA funding. Some of the ARPA funding was allocated to a partnership with Hagerstown Community College to put on 2 career expos, as well as a startup week, which is their entrepreneurial focused week. So this year, Startup Week will be in May of 2024. So we encourage everybody to look forward to that and save the date. But the first Career Expo was held last week, and just wanted to give you guys an update that, we've had some challenges in terms of workforce and, availability, people looking for jobs. But this was a very successful event. They had about over 140 career exhibitors, like tables basically of people looking for applicants. And I went and attended the event and spoke to every exhibitor, and every single exhibitor said how happy they were with the turnout. They had over 600 job seekers show up to this event. So very, very successful event, very good use of the county's partnership money there with that ARPA funding. Just wanted to give you guys an update on how successful that event was. Every vendor there received more applications than they had anticipated, and they were all very happy with it. And just FYI, for another save the date, April 17th of 2024, we will be doing the second installment of that Career Expo in partnership with Hagerstown Community College. So that's at their ARC Center.
What was the first date you gave us? Was that did I miss something?
It's Startup Week is going to be May
Okay.
of next year. I don't have the exact
Okay,
dates.
gotcha.
We'll let you guys know when we get closer.
A curious question, is there anybody, just curious, it's not a big deal. Does anybody ever track just for demographics of where these applicants are coming from?
I don't think they did, but the individual expo people would have that information, so I could reach out to and get a sampling of that to see where most people were coming from.
I'm just curious to see, is it split 50-50 PA, West Virginia, Maryland? Or is
Yeah,
it-
I'd be curious to see that too, but obviously there's some spread there that we're all aware of, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably a lot were from Franklin, Berkeley, Jefferson counties. But yeah, I was just impressed with the turnout,
Yeah, it was
really.
a big turnout.
Yeah, to have 600 people come looking for positions, it was really surprising and really good for everybody.
Jonathan, you said this was funded in part with some ARPA funding?
Correct.
How much of the ARPA funding?
So we agreed to transfer 150,000. Actually, it was 175,000 of total ARPA funding. The first year of 2023's Startup Week, which is their entrepreneurial event that is in conjunction with their business incubator, the Fletcher Incubator. So that we funded that with 25,000 the first year, and then each Career Expo has 75,000 allocated to it.
Okay. It's kind of amazing that we still have ARPA funding that we're utilizing. And I kind of thought that when we did the grants for the small businesses a couple weeks or months ago, that was the final pot of money.
Yeah, so these were two residual pieces of money that my department had. We sort of strategically held it. The money did not have to be expended until December 31st of 2024. And in reference to the impact grant, the Small Business Impact Grant, we actually just did our final check request this morning. So that program will be wrapping up and we'll be coming in front of your board to do a report out there. We're actually creating a really nice video with PR with some of the grant applicants and some of the impact that the money made on their businesses, so that'll give you a good picture of what that allocation had an impact in the community. So we withheld that money, honestly, Wayne, we were looking for the small business community to stabilize out the end of the pandemic, and we were just sort of waiting till we felt like they were in a better position to accept that money and sort of come out the backside of the pandemic successfully. And we believe that we made a really good decision with that. And the ARPA money for the partnership with HCC, when we realized the breadth of the project, we knew that our team of 5 probably wouldn't be able to complete that without a partner, a strong community partner. So we reached out to our strongest community partner in terms of workforce. Yeah. Any other questions, guys?
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Expo was a success last week. Okay, Michelle Gordon.
Thank you. I have 2 changes to the agenda. The quotation award for APC Advantage will need to be pulled and moved to a later meeting and date. Additionally, the Maryland Agriculture Land Preservation Program 60/40 match for fiscal year '24 will need to be moved to December 5th, as Chris Boggs had a last-minute scheduling conflict with the state MALP board. I would like to welcome Chip Rose to Washington County as the new Human Resources Director. Chip's first day was last Monday, November the 20th. Chip has a lengthy career in human resources. He has a proven history in delivering effective people services and solutions, development of employee talent, and improvements to the employee benefits program. He has hit the ground running last week, and I'm excited to have him on our senior leadership team. HR is also planning a Spirit Week for December the 11th through December the 15th, and I'd like to invite the board and all employees to participate. Amy DeVersa has come up with some really great ideas to help get everyone in the holiday spirit. Some of those days include Candy Cane Day, Ugly Sweater Day, door decorating contest, and that'll be in conjunction with our building potluck. I attended the Miss Utility training at the Public Safety Training Center that brought attendees in from various departments within the county, as well as from all of our towns and municipalities. I also attended the 21st Annual Economic Summit. Andrew Eshelman provided me with a site tour of the Beaver Creek Road Bridge project. It's a replacement project of a wooden structure there. I was very impressed with the craftsmanship being performed. Having county employees complete this project has saved the county about $75,000 to $100,000. Labor alone is about $50,000. I also attended the Turkey Trot at HCC, and I'd like to thank Jamie Dick for coordinating that event for the 23rd year. It was a tremendous effort, and as Commissioner Klein mentioned, we had 790 finishers, about 100 kids in the kids race, and hundreds more were there to support all of the participants. It was a great turnout. On your desk, I did place a letter of support from the Community Free Clinic. The Community Free Clinic has offered medically uninsured residents in Washington County, Maryland, a wide range of primary medical and mental health care for the last 33 years, and it's become a staple in our community. They're applying for a grant. The award, or the grant packet must be submitted by December the 15th, and they're asking for the county support. They're not asking for funding, they're just asking for support.
We need a vote to,
We would need a consensus to,
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, me too.
okay.
okay,
Consensus.
thank you.
Very good, thank you.
The next two meeting dates are December the 5th and December the 12th. After that, there will be a break for the holidays until January the 9th. And that's everything I have in staff comments.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Next up is Rick Curry. Rick, good morning.
Share some information regarding Brandy. I'd like to congratulate Brandy on achieving such significant milestones. One, first, her bachelor's degree in business administration from the University of Maryland Global Campus. And secondly, she obtained her certification as a CPTO, which is a Certified Public Procurement Officer through the NIGP. A little bit about the NIGP organization. Composed of 72 affiliate chapters. It has over 1,300 agency members representing federal, state, provincial, local governments throughout the United States and Canada. The agency represents over 13,000 individuals serving public procurement. For the examination of her CPTO, she had to take a 175 multiple choice test, which she had 3.5 hours to complete. During this time of obtaining her certifications, we had a very, very heavy workload coming through the department. I want to commend her for not wavering and standing still and keeping up, and I hope it wasn't too much pressure. But she did do it, so congratulations. President Barr, you have something for Brandy?
Congratulations, Brandy.
Yep, congratulations. Come over here and present it. Sorry, Brandy, I'm a little slow today.
Maybe you should have came to John.
You come up, Rick?
Not much of a lumberjack, Brandy.
Congratulations. On behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, it's my honor and privilege to submit this certificate of recognition to Brandy Noggle. It is presented, the County Commissioners of Washington County would like to recognize Brandy Noggle on her recent achievements of earning her bachelor's degree in business administration and her Certified Public Procurement Officer Certification, CPPO, all while working full-time with Washington County government. We thank you for your service and dedication to the citizens of Washington County. Congratulations, Brandy.
Congratulations.
Good job. Give a surprise.
A little bit. I thought he was making me come down early. I was like,
Brandy, you gotta do one more picture, Brandy.
I do not do that.
You all that.
You were on those.
I don't know about that.
Hey, forgot to mention, she runs Lowe's North End Hagerstown too, Rick, so.
I'm holding the show.
Okay.
Your Jenny's balls. It's a piece of work.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
I can use this. Just remember, paybacks are
Thank you very much.
just a little humor. Randy said he was going to grease my cane, so I don't know
Yeah.
what that meant.
Yeah, well, you don't have to tell everybody that.
We certainly share the love up here. Next up is citizens' participation. This is an opportunity for citizens to comment about an issue or issues of county practices and interests. This is not an interactive dialogue or question and answer session. It is solely time to hear citizens' comments. And please limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. So do we have citizens' participation this morning? Yes, sir? Can you give us your name and address for the records, please?
Yes, Jerry Bowen, 17817 Stone Valley Circle, Hagerstown, Maryland.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. I want to say something about trucks. I have here a map that I can hand out to people. Halfway Boulevard is not a truck route, okay? It is a private citizens route. You have no shoulders, okay? You have no shoulders. You have a single lane in one section. I think it's a northbound section. I have a picture of on my phone. I have a picture I took this morning that I used to. You used to have a sign when we first moved up here, 94, I think, 94. You used to have a sign that was right there at Downsville Pike and Halfway Boulevard. It said no through trucks. You used to have a sign, but now they took that sign down and they put up another sign. So you have no shoulders, you have curbs. And I'm asking for the county to put 2 signs up. A sign that says no through trucks on Virginia Avenue and then Downsville Pike. They're at Downsville Pike. And if they want to take a truck through this shortcut, and their GPS might even say that that's the best route or that's the shortest route, but it'll recalculate if they go down to 70 and they go back up. So I don't know what else to say, but I'm asking for a sign, 2 signs. So anyway, there you have it.
Thank you, sir. It'll be taken under advisement. Thank you very much. Jeff, you take that before the TAC committee?
Yeah, sure, will. I took a note for it.
I saw you. Right, yeah.
Stephanie Phillips, Summit Avenue, Hagerstown. Good morning. Hope you all had a nice holiday. I didn't really plan any remarks this morning, but I was inspired by something that was said. I would like to ask for more consideration for funding for your aquatics community, more swimming pools, more lessons, more programming. The Citizens Emergency Preparedness Day, hopefully will be back online by next year. They had a sign-up sheet. Anybody interested in joining the Citizens training, like to work with your officials? And I signed up for that, and they said they'd call when they had a class. They didn't have a class for several years. I inquired. That's kind of sad, but it occurred to me to contact your college because they probably have a introductory course of all first responders, law enforcement, EMS, fire department, where they give an overview of the big picture of how it starts and how it ends in the ER. You could probably incorporate the few people that sign up on that list. They would fully understand what they might be getting into and at least get some free CPR and first aid. And every single person helps. You know, my very first day as a lifeguard, I showed up with a new girl, and the place was really out of control would be the right language. We called the home office and said, we think we need some more help here. They came in, they looked around, and they said, everybody's fired, go home, and they closed the pool. And we're like, wait, we called you. And they said, okay, you can stay and help clean. They brought in new people, a new manager. She did a great job. One day I'm coming across the deck. We had a small group of rowdy teenagers, is what we'd call them, led by something that a lot of people would call a ringleader. That person actually looked adult age. They were quite a distraction. They were a lot of work, but we let them stay. Thinking, you know, what would they be getting into if they were out on the street unsupervised with nothing productive to do with their time? And one day I come walking out of the office and I see the ringleader running as fast as he can across the deck, and I look in the direction he's going in, and there is a small child about to go under, drowning actively, and none of the guards saw it. He dove in, he got them just before they went under. And the moral of this story is, the kid was fine. Had it gone under and stopped breathing, lost consciousness, it would have been quite different. But they were able to get out, rest a few minutes, and get back in, and I had to go over and sincerely thank him. This neighborhood was a melting pot. There was at least 10 different languages. The children handled it beautifully. They got along, they played well. But that was a moment of change. You know, that whole group started behaving really well, and by the end of the summer, we had a nice party. People brought food from their native countries, frikadellas from Denmark, and the children and families had built a community. It was an amazing, life-changing experience for me. So, you know, every single person could be an important link and make a big difference in the life of another person. And you can't discount anyone. Now you have more than 1 million retired civil servants ready to help straighten out the bigger challenges that we have encountered as a worldwide community as we've changed to democracies and the vacuum of leadership during the early 1920s and the Industrial Revolution. And as we get concerned that there's not enough funding for the social programs and such, I think we're missing the obvious that we now have the civil service people that will help transform this entire situation. And many people that are in the challenged, you know, not real legal positions that they're in today weren't born into it. No, they weren't born that way. They were either part of a family that got stuck in that system, or they were recruited as children, and none of them want to be there anymore, but nobody has practical solutions on how to fix it. But actually, there are a lot of civil servants ready to help you. And so if you could please consider more aquatic opportunities. The other thing is this helps staff our navies, our Coast Guards, our Marine Corps. And it gives a lot of young people an opportunity for a job and confidence in their future lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Phillips.
Thank you.
Any other citizens' participation this morning? Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I am Carol Mowen, President of the Washington County Teachers Association, located on Oak Ridge Drive in Hagerstown. On behalf of our over 1,400 members who work for the Washington County Public Schools, I'm here today to thank you for working with our superintendent, Dr. Sovine, and our elected Board of Education to find additional ways to support our school system beyond the annual budget allocation process. I look forward to hearing the discussion about security improvements at all Washington County Public Schools that is on today's agenda and to seeing this spirit of collaboration continue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other citizens' participation? Last chance. With that, we'll move right into Youth Meritorious Award presentation. Good morning. Good morning.
Throughout the school year, the Board of Washington County Commissioners present the Youth Meritorious Awards to students attending both public, private schools, or those being homeschooled within Washington County. This is an ongoing and continuous opportunity for school staff, community members, family, and friends to nominate students for demonstrating exceptional scholastic achievement, leadership qualities, community service performed, or other positive contributions to their school and community. Today, we are recognizing an outstanding youth who has consistently worked and distinguished himself as a model student and member of our county. It is my pleasure to present June Coe. He joins us from Global Vision Christian School Broadfording, and he has his guardian Josh in the audience supporting him. And with that, I will turn it over to, I think, Commissioner Barr, President
Yes.
Barr.
Okay. Yes.
Any
Go ahead.
comments from the student?
Do you have anything to say? You don't have to, you don't want to.
You're on the spot now, buddy.
Oh, we gotta make him talk a little bit.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Well said.
That's appropriate.
Yep, thank you. Okay. I'm glad I proofread this because this young man's achievements are incredible, just absolutely incredible. I'm going to try to pronounce some of these things correct. So, June, congratulations. Thank you. So on behalf of the County Commissioners, we'd like to present this certificate of recognition to June Coe. We, the Board of County Commissioners of Washington County, do hereby recognize you for the outstanding achievement of being selected as a recipient of November 2023 Youth Meritorious Award. That's the easy part. Now here we go. Global Vision Christian School Broadfording, your academic accomplishments, humanitarian efforts, and extracurricular activities are to be commended for both parents and students in Washington County. You have proven to be a superior role model. We congratulate you on your achievements and wish you the best of all your future endeavors. And actually, I want to read, can we read the ARF that we have for this young man? Here's where all the list of accomplishments are. I apologize. So I'll go ahead and present you with the certificate, and also you have a gift card to Staples, okay? June is one of the brightest students we have had. He is liked and respected by students and adults alike. His many accomplishments, here we go, include leadership roles such as Science Newspaper Club President, Broadcasting Club President, Student Council Vice President, Resident Life Committee Director. In addition to his leadership roles, he also excels academically, having received the Best Student Award in classes such as English 9, Honors Pre-Calculus, AP Microeconomics, AP Chemistry, and many more. June also has outstanding volunteer involvement in organizations such as Worship Team Technician, ENG Program Volunteer, Global Education Fair in Latin America Volunteer, School Volunteer, Circle Member. June also participates in many academic camps such as AI 3-week Summer Camp, Info Challenge Summer Camp, MARC core computational biology research camp, R programming, and machine learning, and many more. So, congratulations.
Can we take just one of you and hang right there? Thank you.
And then we'll come up here and remember all the other characters. Thank you. Good job, James. Thanks for pulling that. Congratulations.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
A photo with your family?
Recognize, yes.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a little surprising.
One, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations to you. Thank you.
Okay. Next up is security improvements at all Washington County public school facilities. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
President Barr, Board of Commissioners, Mrs. Gordon, Mr. Prue and I are here representing WCPS. As was mentioned, our request is funding support for security improvements. The specific amount is not to exceed $1.5 million.
Second.
Any further discussion?
I'd just like to say that the funding source for this would be recommended to come from CIP reserves.
Good, okay.
I appreciate and glad to see the collaboration, as was mentioned before, for this project. I know a couple years ago we provided some capital funding for safety vestibules. We were able to get those in all of the schools. And I'm glad to see we're taking another step here. And, you know, as new technologies come about, you know, keep us informed. So maybe we can keep projects like this moving forward.
Okay,
Very good.
easy vote.
Yep. We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, 4-0. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your support.
Absolutely. Sole source procurement, PUR 1650, route match fixed route software licensing renewal. Good morning.
Good morning, Rick Curry, Director of Purchasing.
Kevin Cerrone, Director of Transit.
Subject before you is sole source procurement, PUR 1650, route match fixed route software licensing renewal for county transit. Recommend a motion to authorize a sole source procurement for licensing for route match scheduling system for county transit in an amount of $60,927.60 from Trapeze Software Group Incorporated, doing business as Route Match Software LLC of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, based on this proposal. Back in 2018, the board did approve the purchase of the route match system for a sum of $309,950, and that system did improve the department's capability of scheduling routes and whatnot. And the county transit wished to apply sections 1-106.2A, 1 and 2 of the Code of Public Laws of Washington County, Maryland, to procure request This section states that a sole source procurement is authorized permissible when only one source exists that meets the county's requirement and compatibility of equipment, accessories, or replacement of parts at paramount consideration. Transit is requesting permission to enter into a maintenance agreement support for the route mass scheduling system. Funds are available in the department's budget, as you can see on the ARF, and attachment of route mass support quote. Questions?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to support as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
4-0. Next item is sole source procurement, PUR 1651, NICE maintenance support for emergency communications.
Again, Rick Curry, Director of Purchasing.
Good morning, Bob McCoy, Director of Emergency Communications.
Subject for you is a sole source procurement 1651, NICE maintenance support for emergency communications. Move to authorize a sole source procurement for maintenance support for the NICE Inform Recorder for the Emergency Communications Center in the amount of $213,546 over a 3-year period from NICE Systems Incorporated of Hoboken, New Jersey, based on this proposal. Back in 2022, the board did approve the purchase of the equipment in the amount of $439,002 for Division of Emergency Services. And they wish to apply sections 1-106.2A, 1 and 2, Code of Public Laws of Washington County, Maryland, to procure request. This section states that a sole source procurement is authorized and permissible when only one source exists that meets the county's requirements and compatibility of equipment, accessories, replacement of parts, and paramount consideration. Emergency Communications Center is requesting permission to enter into a maintenance agreement for the NICE recording system as required by law. It takes 4 to 5 of the commissioners to approve this. Within 10 days, there will be an ad running in the local newspaper stating the sole source procurement. Funds in the amount of $71,182 is available in the department's budget, as you can see in the ARF, and there is the attachment of NICE quote.
Anything I don't understand is, and it's probably an easy answer, if the amount was 439,000 we approved, then all of a sudden I'm not complaining, it went to 213,000. Did I miss something there, or I don't?
439,000 was actually to purchase the equipment back in 2022, but now you have to keep the maintenance up per year.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Rick, the question I have is FY '23, so we're paying that we're paying that backwards for this year, is that?
Yeah, because the invoice is already due, we're gonna get on the commissioner's schedule, but we're paying for 23 in this year.
Okay, that's,
I'd motion to approve.
Second.
motion second to approve as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is sole source procurement award, PUR 1654, Munis Software Utility Billing Support. Good morning.
Again, Rick Curry, Director of Purchasing.
Good morning, Angie Poffenberger, Deputy Director of Software Support and Budget and Finance.
Subject is a sole source procurement award, PUR 1654 for Munis Software Utility Billing Support. Recommended motion to authorize a sole source procurement for the software and licensing support fees from Tyler Technologies of Dallas, Texas, for the use of Office of Budget and Finance and others in the amount of $474,668 over a 2-year period based on Tyler's Technologies proposal. Purchase Department received this request from the Budget and Finance Department as far as Section 101-106.2A, 1 and 2 of the Code of Public Laws of Washington County, Maryland, to the procurement request. The section states that the sole source procurement is authorized and permissible when only one source exists that meets the county's requirement, and 2, the compatibility of equipment and accessories and replacement parts of paramount consideration. As you can see in the ARF, this system does update the county's Maryland real estate and personal property tax management system, which was actually implemented in 2003. and the request requires 4 of the 5 commissioners in order to proceed with this. If approved, the following remaining steps of the process will occur, outlined by law, not more than 10 days after execution approval of the contract. Under the section, procurement agency shall publish notice of the award in the newspaper of the circulation, general circulation of the county. An appropriate record will be kept of this procurement. Funds in amount of $1,047,212.15 is available, and you have the attachment of Tyler's technology proposal. Questions?
I just have a question if I can. Maybe the question was just sparked because we have 2 of these back to back, but software support, is that kind of typical for the county to, is this isn't a new service that we're acquiring, right? It's something that's ongoing, we're just renewing at the newer rate. Okay.
Sort of a follow-up question to Wayne's is, when we spend a lot of money on software, I know it's expensive. Just for me to know, say we picked this one, it's $1 million. Do we compete against other companies for this? Is it a bid process or?
Yes. Well, in this case with Tyler, it's not, because it is sole source. You can only get it from Tyler.
So they're the only game in town?
Well, they're not the only game in town. They're the game that we're currently using. They are the service provider for our software that's used for real estate billing, personal property tax billing, for utility billing, so everything that the tax office uses, as well as budget and finance for those billing. It's not something that you can change on a yearly basis. So there's software support for the software that we currently own and utilize.
Just like proprietary.
Correct.
In 2003, when we first implemented Munis, it was sole source because it provides all the code, the legislative changes and everything for Maryland. And there's about a dozen counties in Maryland that use the Munis software because of that. And initially, we bought and maintained and subscribed to the Munis application because of that. And it's served us well for the 20 years now. And when we added the UB products in the general billing, when PeopleSoft was retired, that also took that. And it also does all the cashiering for all the departments. All the departments in the county enter their deposits either daily, weekly, possibly monthly, whenever they need them submitted to the treasurer's office, and then the treasurer's office reconciles all that every day through the Munis system.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Seems like it would be a disaster to try to change midstream, yeah, so. Hey, I'd motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is runway 0927 lighting and signature or signage project. Authorize airport director to apply for and later accept associated FAA and MAA grants. Good morning, Neil.
Good morning, Neil Doran, Airport Director. Seeking a motion this morning to allow me to apply for grant funding from the FAA and also the MAA. This is a project to replace all the lights and the signage on our primary runway 927. This will move from the older incandescent technologies to the new LED lights, which will save a lot of electricity and also be more conspicuous and visible. So the grant from the FAA is 90%, and we also have a state match at 3 1/3%. So we are asking for a motion to authorize use of $50,163 in our airport capital reserve funds as a local match, and empower me to sign all related paperwork so that I can apply through the FAA and the MAA and accept the grant when offered.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay.
I have a question if I can, Neil. Could you remind me where we are? I know some studies, recommendations were shared with us a couple weeks ago about changing names, updating logos. Will these signs have a different logo than what we're used to seeing, or?
No, this would merely be the runway or airfield signs, you know.
Okay, so not like advertising signs, logos? Okay.
Correct, yeah. That's a separate grant item to tell you about.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and second on the floor. Approve as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Once again, a good deal, 6.67% in-house, where the rest is federal grants.
Yes, sir. We did receive, as you'll see in our next agenda item, a very good price. Contract.
Okay, next item is contract award PUR 1635, Hagerstown Regional Airport, 9-27 edge lighting signage replacement.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brandy Nagelbauer in the Purchasing Department.
Neil Doran, Airport Director.
The next subject matter goes hand in hand with what Neil just presented. This is for the contract award 1635 Hagerstown Regional Airport 927 Edge Lighting Signing Replacement Project. Move to award the edge lighting sign replacement project at the Hagerstown Regional Airport to the responsible bidder, Global Electrical Services out of Frenchtown, New Jersey, who submitted the lowest total sum of $500,960. This award is contingent on a few things, contingent upon grant funding from MAA and FAA. It's also contingent on the county attorney's final approval for the contract agreement and contingent on the vendor registering with the State of Maryland Taxation and Assessment. All three items are currently in process. We're also asking for permission for Neil Dorian to issue an administrative notice to proceed for the vendor to purchase the long-time lead items and material associated to this project. I'm not going to go into detail on the project. Neil just touched base on that. The invitation to bid was advertised in the local newspaper, the State of Maryland's email and marketplace website, the county's website. 20 companies downloaded the document. We received 2 bids in. Those numbers are on the attached bid tabulation, and funding is available in the department's capital improvement plan budget.
So contingent on your grant money, what's your thoughts on, I mean, all this is in vain if we don't, what happens if we don't get the grant money?
They've already concurred with the award. They've seen all the numbers.
So you're
just a matter of
this is just getting through the bureaucracy of it.
yes, the formalities.
I motion to approve.
Second.
And motion is second to approve as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, bid award PUR 1638, lease and supplying of golf carts for Washington County's Black Rock Golf Course and the Washington County Parks Department.
Brandy Nagelbauer in the Purchasing Department.
Andrew Eshelman, Director of Public Works.
The next recommendation I have for you is the bid award 1638, lease and supplying of golf carts for the Washington County Black Rock Golf Course and the Washington County Parks Department. Move to award the contract for the leasing and supplying of golf carts for the golf course and the Parks Department to the lowest responsible low bidder, Capital Golf Cars and Utility Vehicles out of Frederick, Maryland. The recommended award for the leasing and supplying of the golf carts is for 72 new golf cart rentals and 1 heavy-duty golf cart rental for Black Rock Golf Course and 4 new rentals for the Washington County Parks Department. All carts will have a fold-down windshield installed. This is a 6-year contract, and at the end of 3, all carts will be swapped out for new carts. The recommended option also includes a service agreement with weekly maintenance, wintertime service, and 24-hour emergency service. At the end of the 6-year term, the golf carts will be returned to the vendor. Should the county want to purchase the carts, they will have to pay a fair market price value, as well as secure additional maintenance for these carts. The total amount of the award for the 6-year period is $591,384.48. Funding is available in various departments for the leasing of these carts.
Is it true, Andrew, that I think we heard this, that the companies are pretty competitive because they're also competitive? They make all their money on the back end when they get the carts back and sell them?
Yes, I believe that's what our golf manager, Ryan Crabtree, said, is that in order to just have the inventory, in this case, we got a pretty good price, even though increased from the prior contract, just so that they can get those vehicles and have them for resale later, which, you know, they make some money off of that.
Second.
Okay, motion and second to approve as submitted. All in
I'd like to ask a question if I
Sure.
can. I'm sorry.
Wayne.
Our current golf carts, what's their fate?
It's the same.
So they were leased?
Yes,
And they'll
this
go
is
back?
essentially a rebid of what we currently have, which they go back for resale. We don't elect to purchase those.
Okay. What are we voting on? I see there's an option 2, and there's alternates. I'm sorry, can you just clarify that for
Yeah,
me?
it was the option of leasing the carts and then the option of leasing the fold-down windshields for each of them. But all carts are going to have a windshield. So I gave you a total of the cart and the windshield for that 6-year term.
Okay. One more question. The golf course, I guess in theory is supposed to operate as an enterprise fund. What was the general fund allocation for this fiscal year? Do we have any idea what that is offhand?
I believe it's over 400,000, maybe around 430, somewhere in that range.
Okay, President Barr, I'm sorry.
Okay, ready? All, motion and second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
No.
Okay. 3-1. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is contract award PUR 1642 for gasoline and diesel fuel deliveries.
Randy Nagelfire in the Purchasing Department.
Zane Rao, Deputy Director of Highways.
The next recommendation is the contract award PUR 1642, gasoline and diesel fuel deliveries. Move to award the bid for gasoline and diesel fuel deliveries under 4 separate contracts to the responsible bidders who submitted the lowest bids. It is recommended to award the following: gasoline tank wagon deliveries to AC&T out of Hagerstown, Maryland. Gasoline transport deliveries to Petroleum Traders Corporation out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Diesel tank wagon deliveries, AC&T, Hagerstown, Maryland. Diesel transport deliveries, Petroleum Traders Corporation out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Bids were received on November 1st, 2023, based on estimated quantities for the contract period tentatively to begin December 1st, 2023, ending November 30th, 2024. The contract is for a period of 1 year with no option to renew. This is a requirements contract, and the county guarantees no minimum or maximum order. The invitation to bid was advertised on the State of Maryland's e-Maryland Marketplace website, the county's website, and a local newspaper. 30 companies downloaded the document. 4 bids were received, and 1 bid was received after the deadline. The contract requirements are for also the City of Hagerstown, Washington County Public Schools, and Hagerstown Community College, and they will do their own separate formal contract award. Funding is available in various department budgets for these fuel deliveries.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Any questions? All in favor by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, bid award PUR 1643, swimming pool and wastewater treatment chemicals.
Randy Nagelfire, for the Purchasing Department.
Savini Epsy, Deputy Director of Water Quality.
The last recommendation I have for you this morning is the bid award 1643, swimming pool and wastewater treatment chemicals. Move to award the bids for swimming pool and wastewater treatment chemicals to the responsible bidders with the lowest bids for each item as indicated in the report. Also, the award for item number 34 is contingent upon the receipt and acceptance of the additional information we requested from the vendor. The county accepted bids on November 1st, 2023 for the chemicals for county departments as well as the City of Hagerstown and the town of Boonesboro. The invitation to bid was listed on the State of Maryland's e-Maryland Marketplace Advantage website, the county's website, and the local newspaper. 40 companies downloaded the document. 14 bids were received, two of which were deemed non-responsive because they submitted their bids on incorrect forms. The contract term is for a period of 1 year, beginning December 1st, 2023, ending November 30th, 2024. There is no option to renew on this contract. The above recommendations are for county requirements only. The City of Hagerstown and the Town of Boonesborough will make their own separate award. Again, this is a requirements contract, and we guarantee no minimum or maximum order on this contract. Funding is available in various departments for the Department of Water Quality and the Parks and Recreation Department.
Randy, a question I have is items 17, 18, and 19, no bid was received. What happens with those chemicals?
So that would be an item that the department would have to call and get quotes on, competitive quotes by 3 companies.
Okay. They are necessary chemicals for our source. So obviously there's some more homework to be done with those 3 items.
It happens sometimes that we
Does it?
don't get that. So, the quotes will remain competitive, and it probably has something to do with the increase of the chemicals at this point.
Yeah. Or availability. So. Okay.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion and second on the floor. All in favor by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. 4-0. Thank you. Okay, next item is presentation of the June 30th, 2023 audited financial statement.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Chris Lehman with SB and Company. I was the audit partner on this year's financial statement audit. So I have a brief presentation that I'll give that goes over the highlights of the audit process. On this slide, we have listed the services that we were engaged to perform. We were engaged to perform the audit of the June 30, 2023 financial statements for the county. We're also engaged to complete what's termed a uniform guidance single audit. That is a federal grant compliance audit that's required for entities that expend more than $750,000 per year of federal funds. In addition, the golf course and the agricultural center, as they're set up as nonprofits, we do complete the federal Form 990s for those 2 entities. In addition, there's a state requirement to audit the agricultural land, transfer tax revenues and expenditures. So there's a separate report on that, as well as some landfill calculations that are also required by state regulations. Looking at fire and rescue expenditures, there's an additional report on that. Audit of the 911 activities from a revenue and expenditure perspective. There's also certain agreed upon procedures we do at the detention center and some of the inmate accounts there. In addition, with the 990s, we also assist with the state charitable registrations. And there, upon completion of the financial statement audit, there's what's termed a uniform financial report, or UFR, that also goes to the state that shows that you've met your compliance requirements for the audit. Last but not least, there's also a data collection form that's completed upon completion of the single audit. That will go on record to show the federal government that you've met your requirements for the single audit. Here I've got just a high level of the results of the audit. We've issued a clean or unmodified opinion on the financial statements. That's the best opinion we could give under professional standards. We did not discover any instances of fraud. We weren't made aware of any fraud, but we are required to have a healthy skepticism of fraud. We had no audit journal entries that were recorded to the financial statement, so that just speaks to the integrity and accuracy of the ledger that's maintained. Throughout the year, we've had no material weaknesses in any of the internal controls. I have a couple of slides coming up that'll show what we consider the significant processes, where we look at both the design and the operation of those processes. We haven't issued the single audit report yet, but to date we have no findings to report. So at this point it would be a clean opinion given where we are to date. And then lastly, we also received the full cooperation of management. As you saw in the previous slide, there's a long list of deliverables, a lot of things that we ask for backup and support to issue those deliverables, so we had full cooperation from management. Any questions that we asked, we got adequate responses. Backup for transactions, we got adequate backup. We had no instances where there were any unsupported transactions. This slide here is just a picture of the risk-based audit approach. We spend a significant amount of time understanding the design and the operation of the controls, and really the audit's designed to be a funnel, that we're funneling out risks through our procedures so that ultimately we could get to a deliverable or a set of financial statements that are reasonably free of material misstatement. So the next few slides go through just a result of that assessment of the control environment and the specific key processes. And looking at the environment, there's a few different models out there that are that auditors use or the clients use to determine what their controls are. Looking at the model that we use, there's 5 interrelated components. There's the control environment, there's management's risk assessment, there's the control activities, information and communication and monitoring of the controls. And we've concluded that there was an effective environment for the period under audit. Typically, when there's not an effective period, we see, delays in the audit adjustments, material weaknesses, the things that we didn't have here. So that, I think having a control environment really sets the tone of whether or not there's going to be a smooth audit or a good audit, if you will. And then just looking at some of the key processes here that impact the financial statements. Most of these are key processes just given the materiality of the numbers that are presented on the financial statements in combination with just the volume of activity. We can't look at every single transaction that runs through the county, but we are looking at controls so that we know what control activities are in place to make sure there's a reasonable basis to get numbers accurately reported in the system. So we look at the treasury function, that's looking at bank reconciliations, investment reconciliations for the fiduciary or the pension investments. There's certain estimates within the financial statements. Pension and OPEB accounting, there's very significant estimates and actuarial estimates that go into those. The useful lives of fixed assets and how long those assets are being depreciated is an example of estimates. Financial reporting is management giving us a complete set of books that have been closed and being able to get that information on a timely basis to meet the deadline. Looking at the disbursement or the expenditure cycle and the approval pass that disbursements go through so the vendors are paid. And then on this slide here, looking at the payroll cycle, revenue cycle, as well as fixed assets and grant compliance from a single audit perspective, we've concluded that both the design and the operation of the controls were effective for the period under audit. The last few slides here is kind of a summary of a number of items I talked about, but really my opportunity that if we had difficulties or trouble getting through the audit, I'd be required to bring that to your attention. If we had material weaknesses, if we had journal entries, unsupported transactions, really anything I would say of a negative nature, I'd be required to bring that to your attention. So there's really nothing negative I need to bring to your attention through the audit process. The idea being, although we've issued a clean opinion, if there was lots of cleanup we had to get involved in or posting entries or things of that nature, you may not know that just from looking at the clean opinion, but this kind of gives you a little deeper dive that if we had troubles that I would make you aware of that. But I think, the statements were issued on time to the state. You're still within the deadline for the single audit to be completed. It only seems like with the COVID money, there's more auditing that has to be done from a single audit perspective, but we're in the process of completing that, and there should be no issue with meeting the single audit deadline. And that's all I have.
Questions?
No, it sounded like it went very well.
Yep.
Took you a couple hours?
Takes a bit of time.
Good audit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Kelsey. Very good. Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kelsey Mace, Chief Financial Officer, and I just wanted to give you a brief overview of the general fund. Before I get into that, I do want to state that we're not going to be discussing the surplus today. We're going to hold that discussion until the December 5th meeting. With that, I would like to thank the Budget and Finance staff for their hard work to complete the financial statements and audit. So the annual budget provides the basis for controlling and coordinating the county's resources for programs and services. The original general fund budget for FY23 was $263 million. $25 million in adjustments were made to bring the final budget to $288 million. The budget adjustments were related to the use of reserves for unanticipated costs, including the nonprofit grants from the FY22 excess of $3 million, the 9.5% mid-year COLA of $2.3 million, an interfund loan to solid waste for $1 million, the recording of in-kind contributions of $4 million, and then unexpected grants and other revenues. Total revenues for FY23 were $304.8 million, and total expenditures were $299.8 million, resulting in an excess of revenues of $5 million. This expenditure total does include the $20 million transfer to CIP reserve that was approved by the Commission on October 10th. Revenue growth compared to FY22 was 1.6%, and expenditure growth compared to last year was 3.46%. The percentage of cash reserves required is calculated based on general fund revenue. As revenues increase, the required cash reserves also increases. In FY23, the general fund cash reserve was $73.2 million, or 24.58%, which is about 3 months of cash reserves, and is 1.04% higher than FY22's, which was actually 23.54%. I apologize for the typo on your screen. The county's cash reserves as a percent of revenue target is 17%, or $52 million, which translates to about 2 months of reserves. The actual cash reserve is approximately $21.4 million over the minimum. Revenues exceeded final budget by $16.7 million, or 5.8%. The net of real and personal property tax created $6.2 million over the final budget. Personal property tax relates to business personal property and is a good indication of business growth in the county. Income tax is over budget $11.7 million. The county uses a conservative approach when estimating revenues, and the '23 budget included a tax rate reduction of 2.95% that was effective beginning January 1st of 2023. Withholdings and reconciling distributions came in at $105.8 million, which is $500,000 less than in FY22. Interest and penalties collected were $5.6 million, which is an increase of $2.6 million over last year. These distributions can be volatile because they typically involve higher income households and depend on filing patterns. This also means that a small number of late returns can have a significant impact on distribution. Disparity grant income was $3.8 million, which is a 54% decrease from FY22's revenue of $8.4. Overall, the FY23 income tax revenue is down 1.52% from the FY22 revenue received. Recordation tax was $2.9 million over the final budget and is a reflection of the housing market trend in FY23. The housing market is still experiencing higher property sale prices due to rising cost of materials for new construction and a lower than normal inventory of homes available. However, as interest rates rose on loans, there were fewer property transfers. FY23 revenue was down 42% from the FY22 revenue received. Interest was over budget $5.7 million. Interest rates at the beginning of fiscal year '23 were at about 0.1% and steadily increased to around 5% at the end of the fiscal year. The other revenue shortfall of $9.8 million is primarily due to increases in grant awards. For program grants, the full grant award is budgeted when awarded, and many of our grant periods extend beyond 1 year or the grant period does not align with our fiscal year. Expenditures exceeded final budget by $11.6 million, or 4%. As mentioned earlier, based on the Commission's decision on October 10th, a $20 million transfer to the capital fund was made prior to the year-end close. Transfers to other operating funds were under budget by $1 million. Wages were over budget by $1.1 million. This overage was due to overtime, which overrode the vacancy savings. Benefits were under budget by $3.9 million. Health insurance came in $2.6 million under budget due to an end-of-year adjustment to our reserve for claims that were incurred but not reported. Other benefit savings were due to the vacancy savings. Departmental operations were over budget by $2.6 million. Appropriations to volunteer fire and rescue companies were over budget by $1 million. This is due to reimbursing on actual expenses for health insurance, utilities, fuels, and maintenance, and the company spent more than what was anticipated. $0.8 million of the overage is related to billable expenses and was partially reimbursed. The remaining $0.8 million was spread out over other various departments. Similar to the variance in revenue, grant-related expenditures came in under budget by $9.8 million due to the grant periods extending beyond the fiscal years and the funds not yet being expended. Lastly, controllable assets were $2.6 million over budget due to an accounting change on recording leased assets. This entry was a non-cash entry and did have a corresponding revenue. So during the upcoming FY25 budget process, there are a number of factors that the Commission will need to consider. Based on the most recent consumer price index, inflation at the end of September 23 increased 3.7% for the months ending in September, the 12 months ending in September. While this is much lower than the 8.2% reported at this time last year, the inflationary rate will still impact costs for capital projects. And while the Commission has made great strides in improving the salary scale in recent years, additional changes may be needed to remain competitive and to retain employees. Infrastructure maintenance programs and CIP will need to be reevaluated during the 25 budget process to continue to make up for maintenance that has been deferred. And lastly, as we continue navigating the transition of EMS, current and future financial impact must be considered. So that concludes my presentation. Do you have any questions or requests for additional information?
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, I have a question. Thank you for your work, SB and company, and our staff for putting this together and helping the auditing firm. The slide that shows the fiscal year 23 revenue highlights significant revenues over under final budget. I seem to always take issue with that. I think it's important that we also look to original budget, how we originally budget. And I know economic times change rapidly in a 12-month period. But I think it's important that we look to the original budget as well at our revenues and expenditures. But could we maybe get an update, and just an email would be fine, or
Sure.
this slide, just comparisons to the original budget? I think that paints, just in my opinion, a more accurate reflection of our budgeting process. And I have a concern, and I've said it before, and it's happened for years, as our revenues continue to, and that may change, but as our revenues are much higher than what we originally projected, I just don't feel like that surplus money that we allocate to, whether it's nonprofits, different departments, put more money into whatever fund it may be, I just don't think that gets the same level of scrutiny as our overall budget process. It doesn't get the same level of public input. Our partners that we fund, Board of Education, whoever, I feel that money, it's been significant in recent years, and I think it deserves the same level of scrutiny in how we spend it. And that's just my comment, and I would like to see if we could get this slide updated with variance to the original budget.
Sure. I will say, though, as far as real property tax, personal property tax, and income tax, they didn't have any budget adjustments through the year, so the variance to original budget would be the same as the variance to final budget.
Well, if you could update it all, I would appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice job.
Next item is Utilities, Eastern Boulevard, Scott Hobbs.
Good morning. Scott Hobbs, Director of Engineering. I recommend the board approve utility work for the Eastern Boulevard widening and intersection improvement Phase 1 project from the sole provider utility service, Potomac Edison, in the amount of $99,308.22. The work involves the relocation of existing utilities and additional line work along Eastern Boulevard at the intersection with Jefferson Boulevard and Security Road. This is a CIP budgeted project with $3 million in state contribution for work at Maryland 64 Jefferson Boulevard improvements. Any
Motion to
questions?
approve. Second.
Motion and second on the floor to approve as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Since we're a little ahead of schedule, can I ask a question?
Sure.
I'm sorry, it's kind of related to this. Scott, a couple weeks ago, you presented to us, I think like in the Williamsport area, Van Leer area, some utility company, I think it was a cable company, maybe not putting people's yards back together after they were laying their utility lines. Do you have any update on that for us? And I know we were under consideration maybe hiring another inspector to, you know, get that project going smoother, and we also talked about the responsibility that cable company might have to do the job right in the first place. Can you give any update on that? And
Sure.
I'm putting you on the spot here, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Greg Cartret, our Director of Permits Inspections, and I have been working with our inspection staff and making sure that yards are put back in order the best they can at this location, and those locations at this season. So we've been working on that actively the last few weeks, and then here in a couple of weeks, we'll be presenting some changes to our utility policy. So we'll share some of those impacts that have happened in recent weeks, and again, how that's all playing out the last few months. But for the most part, most of the work is done for the year with utilities, dealing with people's yard work, and anything that's going on now, we're asking them to go back, clean things up, take care of the things they can at this point in time, and then move forward with that in the spring and summer work next year. They're still will be in the area for the next couple of years, according to their supervisors of all the utility companies we're talking to.
Okay, thank you.
Next. I'm here also for Scott Hobbs, Director of Engineering, here to request the board award the contract for the facility design services for the Stormwater and Watershed Services Administration Building to the responsible bidder, LS Grimm of Hagerstown, Maryland, with the lowest total fee of $189,024.42. The work involves the engineering design of an office building for staff working in the stormwater management and watershed services. Facility will house staff and equipment needed to implement the NPDS MS4 program. The request for proposal was issued under the Design Services Contract, PUR 1481. 2 proposals were received and listed on the bids result sheet. LS Grimm's team includes BFM Architects, Matonic and Associates, Frederick Cyber and Associates, and Triad Engineering. This is a CIP budgeted project. Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve as submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. 4-0.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Next item is approval of zoning map amendment, RZ 23-004, and comprehensive plan amendment, CP 23-001. You ready to move forward with that, Michelle?
Zach Kiefer.
Since he's not here, I can do it. Commissioners, as you may recall, several weeks ago, there was a public hearing on requested rezoning in case RZ 23-004, as well as a request for an associated comprehensive plan amendment, CP 23-001. At the conclusion of the public hearing, it was the consensus of the commissioners to approve the rezoning as well as the comprehensive plan amendment. The decision and findings of fact have been put together to formalize that action and to finalize the rezoning and the comprehensive plan amendment. and it would be appropriate at this time for the commissioners to formally approve the decision, findings of fact, and associated documentation to effectuate the rezoning and the comprehensive plan amendment. This was the Jernigan property in 23226 Fruit Tree Drive in Smithsburg.
Morning, Commissioners. Zachary Kiefer, Deputy County Attorney. I apologize for my tardiness. My phone was a little behind schedule, but I think Kirk teed it up for us.
I think we're ahead of schedule, so it's okay.
Yeah, this is the same one we just went through with Troy and Elizabeth Jernigan, right? Smithsburg. Yeah, we've discussed it at pretty much the length of the hearing on it. How do you want the motion? Motion to approve? You want specific language in it?
Motion to approve is fine.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any other
I'm going to abstain.
abstaining? Any further discussion, questions? Hearing none, then I'll call for the vote. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, or abstain? 3-1.
We have one. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Commissioner.
very good. Thank you, Zach. Next item is Department of Solid Waste Budget Transfer. Dave Mason, good morning.
Morning, Commissioners. Dave Mason with Department of Solid Waste. I'm here today for a motion to approve a budget transfer in the amount of $35,270 for the lost settlement of a damaged 2004 New Holland tractor. Budgets are being transferred into the accident repair budget for the department.
Discussion?
No, stuff happens.
does.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion second to approve. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. 4 up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is Hagerstown Flying Boxcars Stadium Advertising Opportunity. Good morning, Danielle.
Good morning, Commissioners. Danielle Weaver, Public Relations and Marketing Director. I'm here today with an exciting advertising opportunity at the Hagerstown Boxcars Stadium. The proposal is to reserve the highly visible area beneath the pitch clock for an annual cost of $20,000. This would be a 5-year commitment. There are several benefits to advertising at the Hagerstown Flying Boxcars Stadium. The pitch clock area that we would reserve is one of the most prominent and visible locations in the stadium, ensuring that our brand is seen by a large and engaged audience. The stadium will also attract a diverse audience. This will include families, sports enthusiasts, different residents from around the community. This will be a multi-purpose facility, so it will attract more than just baseball residents. Our brand will gain significant exposure not only during live events, but also through broadcasts of the televised broadcast that the stadium will put out. It will also support local initiatives. So I'm here today to request a motion to use $100,000 from the Hotel Rental Tax Fund to purchase ad space at the Flying Boxcars Stadium.
I'm looking, trying to read it all here real quick. Is that digital or is that fixed signage?
It's fixed signage. That's
So
why
we keep the
we had
same-
to either do a 3 or a 5-year commitment.
Do we keep the same thing for 5 years?
It would be, yes.
And these are proofs of what you do back here, or
What is that?
is, within our folder, is that what the sign might look
It may look like that. I mean,
without the?
this is just a mock-up for now. You guys would definitely get to approve the final,
Yeah, so we'd get to see the final.
yes. Because there are things that could be happening in the near future that would make this change.
It'd be targeted directly for tourism, Washington County.
Yes.
And that 100,000 commitment is 20,000 per year for the next 5 years. It's not 100,000 in the first year.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Thank you, 4-0. I was looking for Leslie. Agriculture Faces of Farming presentation. Jonathan, good morning. Welcome back.
Morning again, Commissioners. Jonathan Horowitz, Director of the Department of Business and Economic Development. I am here filling in for our Business Specialist of Agriculture, Hospitality, Tourism, Leslie Hart. She is out today. So just want to present the Faces of Farming installment for this month. Washington County Department of Business and Economic Development is here to present the monthly Faces of Farming campaign. Today's featured farms are a vegetable and a dairy farm. As a reminder, the Faces of Farming campaign is essential to our community so that our citizens know the faces of our farmers who produce their food, fiber, and fuel. Washington County's agricultural business represents the backbone of the county's landscape, with over 900 operating family farms and almost $154 million in market value of products sold. Faces of Farming campaign will aim to educate residents in Washington County, along with surrounding states and counties, about the economic impact of the ag industry. At the Commissioner's suggestion, an additional Faces of Farming educational campaign is going to be created and pushed out to WCPS for use in elementary and middle school education in the future. Today we are featuring Willow Run Farm of Keedysville and Mountain Valley Orchard of Smithsburg, Maryland. If PR would please roll the video, thank you.
Hi, I'm Brian Babington. I'm with Willow Run Farm. We're located here in Keedysville, Maryland. Home farm's 23 acres. We farm about 220 total. We raise about 100 head of beef cattle and have about 100 head of hogs for private sale and public sale. In addition to the farm, we do some contracting services, ag fence building, livestock watering systems, we do installations, and we also get into some excavating and barn renovation, that sort of stuff. Right now we keep 3 people employed. We usually start around 6 in the morning, finish up anywhere from 8 till midnight. Short days are 8 hours, some days are 24. I'm second generation on this farm. My dad started here, and I've continued what he started. From what my dad did, we started a contracting business, grew that. We've also increased the size of the farm a little bit from what he did. He stayed much smaller scale. My granddaughter Alexis, she's involved very heavily in 4-H and FFA. We're hoping she's third generation to take over here. She shows her beef cattle and pigs, and she's hoping to go on to be a vet. Everything we use every day in our everyday lives, there's not a thing we do that we touch that is not related to agriculture in some way. It's important everybody understands that and puts the importance of keeping agriculture first place in the country.
Hi, my name's Leroy Tracy. This is Mountain Valley Orchard. We farm about 150 acres here. We start off with strawberries, and then we go to all different kinds of vegetables, and we do peaches, apples, plums, cherries, and a little bit of everything there. I guess apples would be my favorite. We start out with Summer Rambo. We have Golden Supreme, Golden Delicious, Gala, Yorks, Rome, Crimson Crisp, Fuji, Cameos, Granny Smith. That's our main ones. I lived in Smithsburg, and I came to work here when I was about 12 years old, and been here ever since. Married the granddaughter, and I'm still here.
We've been farming here for quite a while, since my great-great-grandfather, which were German immigrants, came here. The farm was originally 12 acres, he and his brother, and the house was in the middle of the road, which is now 64. And the road came through, so they split the farm in half. Each generation has added more ground to it, a little at a time as we could, and that's how we came to what we have today.
Well, here with this location here, we're getting built up around here. There's a lot of houses built up next to our orchards and stuff now. We get along with all our neighbors, but we have to watch the spraying and the dust and all that kind of stuff like that. in the area. Well, people have to think that if we develop all the land, we're not going to have farming around here. We're not going to have local food products. You'll be getting food from overseas, and that's why the importance of to keep it all together here.
Buy local, buy fresh, because you don't know what you're getting and where it's coming from or what's used on it.
Pretty good.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'm always amazed at the videos as well to learn what's in the community.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item is budget adjustment for unbudgeted costs. Michelle?
I'm requesting to amend the budget for the County Administrator's Office by $175,402 and the County Clerk's Office by $21,265 due to personnel changes. Additional funding is needed in both departments. A combined total of $196,667 is needed, and funding is available from unexpected increases in interest revenue in fiscal year '24.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second on the floor, ready to vote. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next item is revision to policy PR 34 leave.
Michelle Gordon, County Administrator. I did hand out earlier this morning, one more revision to policy PR 34. I'll go over that here in a minute. Revisions to policy PR 34, which is our leave policy, are recommended to ensure that all employees are treated fairly and equitably. Major changes include the following. Vacation leave accruals will stop after 90 days while employees are on workers' compensation. Section 3, vacation leave, letter F, is a new letter, and it states, vacation is earned by actively being at work. Any employee that is absent for more than 90 days, 90 consecutive calendar days, because of workers' compensation leave will have his or her vacation accruals stopped and will not begin accruing vacation benefits until they return to work. The second major item would be leave earned and used. The increment for leave earned and used throughout the document was changed from days to hours. For example, 3 days was changed to 24 hours. Personal leave, effective January the 1st of 2024, regular full-time employees are entitled to leave consisting of 60 hours per calendar year, and that leave may be used in hourly increments. This is an increase from the previous language that provided 6 days of personal leave per calendar year, which equated to 48 hours for most employees. The increase in leave of 12 hours will be partially offset by changes to the holiday schedule and will ensure that all employees are treated fairly and equitably. And then the last major change is to sick leave, section 5B, and that change I'll read to you since it was adjusted yesterday. In section 5B, accumulations of sick leave is unlimited except during the enrollment process for employees entering into the Deferred Retirement Option Plan or the DROP program. During drop enrollment, an employee must make a one-time exchange of accumulated unused sick leave into additional years of service. Please refer to the retirement plan document for those exchange rates. During drop enrollment, an employee may elect to exchange up to 100% of their accumulated unused sick leave into years of service, and the maximum remaining accumulated unused sick leave balance at that time is 2 months after entering the drop, and the exchange of leave is, and the exchange of accumulated unused sick leave of 2 years of service is complete. Accumulation of sick leave is, again, unlimited. Do I have any questions or recommendations?
Motion?
I have a question if I can. I agree with everything. The first bullet point, just kind of curious about, I don't know how I personally feel. If an employee gets injured at work and it's not their fault, what other benefits, I mean, are they eligible for health insurance? I understand like during their recovery or, you know, any healthcare related bills aren't necessarily the employee's responsibility. But I don't know if it's right that we take away any benefits because they got hurt and it was something that may be the responsibility of the company or the county.
Well, it's actually the norm for benefits, for leave accruals to stop when an employee is on workers' compensation leave for extended periods. And this actually mirrors what was recently approved in the bargaining agreement. Their sick leave benefits, personal time off, none of that will stop. Their health insurance benefits, all of that remains in place. We're just trying to prevent situations where employees have been on extended leave, and then at the end of the year, they're not able to use all of that vacation leave, so they end up losing it anyway.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second on the floor to approve as described or mentioned and submitted. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
Last item under open session is retention of government relations consultant and lobbyist. Kurt Downey.
Commissioners, Bruce Bariano has served as the lobbyist on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners for the past number of years. He has contacted us and is again offering to serve as lobbyist for the 2024 calendar year on the same terms and conditions that he has served as lobbyist previously. Having a lobbyist does give us a presence in Annapolis. It allows somebody to keep an eye on what's happening with the General Assembly as bills and legislation develops over the course of a session. And it's also instrumental and helpful when managing and relationships as we need things to happen or not happen in Annapolis in the best interest of the county. So it would be appropriate at this time, if the county commissioners wish to do so, to move to retain Bruce Bariano as the county's government relations consultant and lobbyist for the 2024 calendar year.
In prior years, this particular line item was funded by the commissioner's contingency, and I would recommend the same funding source this year if you choose to approve it.
Motion to support with the funding suggested.
I'll second with some comments. For the last several years, I've not supported Mr. Bariano. I did have a concern. I think I've read an article where he has the second largest clientele list in the state among lobbyists, and I have to wonder if there might be competing interests there. But I did suggest a couple weeks ago that maybe we have a stronger lobbying effort dedicated solely to I-81. So might there be an agreement if we give that task, not that I expect him to get full funding at the end of this legislative cycle, but that be his #1 priority, I-81 funding, and just bring the importance of that, how dangerous that interstate is, the on-ramps, the off-ramps.
Well, to his credit, he did arrange a meeting in January with Greg Slater, which eventually led to the $100 million for Phase 2. So he has been helping us with that. But we could place an emphasis for him to do that even more.
And I would like regular feedback on that subject in particular, and I would support.
Okay, very good. I will say Bruce is probably the hardest working lobbyist in Annapolis. I mean, he definitely gives 110%. So we have a motion. Did we had a second? Okay. Call for a vote. Ready? All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. 4-0. Okay. Motion to go into closed session for the reasons stated.
Motion to go into closed session.
Second.
Okay. Let's take a 10-minute recess.